in the mainstream media. We've had certain physicians here, we've had certain patriots here, and tonight, momentarily, I'm going to be bringing on a particular individual who's, for some, controversial, but for others, a light force, someone that is creating hope around the globe. And she was doing an interview. And I was like, who is this person? I've never heard of this person in my life. So I started to listen to this interview, and it fascinated me so much that I must have listened to it 5 to 10 times. Possibly might not sit well with you. So I ask you to bear an open mind, to take for what she says, listen to all sides, because that's what we're trying to do. I would like to introduce to everybody on the screen my guest, Miss Kimberly Ann Goguen. Kim, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Thank you for joining us. It was you? They were making reference to an individual person in the money system. So I wasn't sure if it was you. And I was like, is this who I think it is? But it could have been somebody else. But there was references in these blogs that were coming out. So I was fascinated with it. Before we even get into the questions that I've set forth, I'd like the world to know a little bit about you. Who is Kim? From what I can recall, from reading some of your bios and what Life Force has put out about you, your lineage and bloodline goes back a very long time.
It's not actually a bloodline like people think. So people think when I say, well, I have a particular DNA. So we have two different types of DNA. We have a source code DNA, which is your soul DNA. And then you have a physical body DNA. And the two are not dictated by like who your parents were, or, your soul is your soul, right? So that comes directly from God.
If you don't mind sharing that.
Well, there's a group called the Order of the Black Sun, right? And they were the ones that started all the intelligence agencies in the world. So there were various DNA programs being run based on information they were given from Project Looking Glass.
Basically, all the banks in the world, based on what I know, are currently insolvent, meaning they owe somewhere between 5 to, let's say, 20 times what their normal assets would be. So, it's just like you. I mean, if your net worth is $500,000 and you owe $5 million in debt, I mean, you really are broke. You just may look good on the outside, right? You might drive a nice car and have a nice house, but at the end of the day, you can't afford to pay for it. That's where the Federal Reserve is now.
How are you getting the information on this, David? Where are you getting it from?
Well, mainly I'm getting it from The Guardian, Kimberly Ann Goguen, and I know a lot of people have a lot of issues with her and her story. But for me, I've been following this process for 3 years. I see things a lot differently than the average person who comes in.
I'm going to share with you now a website called Project Speak. And this is a site I've been researching heavily for the last 5 days or about a week. People were telling me about it and I didn't look at it. And Spirit told me to check it out. And I've checked it out and it's pretty amazing. So am I sharing the screen?
Yep, you're up perfect. Amazing.
Okay. So this is a site, it's called Project Speak. And there's a lot of stuff, I'm not going to go too deep into it. But I'm going to share with you now some things about the positive message before we get into the Black Sun and the various things. This woman actually explains it. She doesn't actually, another gentleman she worked with, but she was actually kind of the, I don't want to get too freak people out too much, but this is going to be really difficult for a lot of people to grasp. But I'm going to give you the short story here. Her name is Kimberly Goguen.
But, there's an awful lot that I'm still in the dark about, but
okay. Well, let's chat about it.
Exactly.
I'm going to mute this. There we go.
Yeah, I've just muted mine because I went out earlier and left my phone behind. It was absolutely lovely.
That's always great. Trust me, I know.
Yeah, exactly. So, welcome anyway, Kim. Great to see you again.
Great to see you again.
Yeah. So, I'd love for you to describe the basic history of where we come from, because I loved that. I thought that was so constructive.
How much time do you have?
Sorry?
I said, how much time do you have?
Oh, yeah.
So kind
Yeah.
of want to point me into the right direction of the questions, I guess, as far as like the basic history of where we come from.
Yeah.
Are you referring to the financial system?
No, he was never a good person, ever, or whatever that is.
Okay,
He was
I mean, that's my
horrible.
understanding
He
as
was
well.
charming
But-
and manipulative and cunning. Kind of like that guy in the weird leisure suit at the bar that's like, hey, what's your sign? That was like M. He would be very, hey, let's, I really like you. And oh, you did such a great job. Or oh, you didn't pass the test.
Okay,
You
but
know?
what in essence I'm saying here is that you've just described that all the money has already been distributed in a certain sense. But you're saying, because the question was, where's all the gold? And you're saying it's
And
basically.
the answer to the question is, it's not just gold, it's rare earth minerals, it's everything of value that is
Right.
currently unmined in the ground. The already mined gold that everybody talks about, that's in. And if you're watching this on Penny's channel, my name's Kimberly Goguen. I'm probably the most loved and hated person out there in alt media right now, but I do work with the back etherical quantum system, which is a real system. And it has been functioning here on this planet for a long time. I've been doing this now for 9 years. And that's what we're about to talk about. I know a lot of people associate me with the financial system, but it's not just about financial matters. It's a full guardian position that I've had for a little while now. So that's me.